Yo, Swinum Hooks, Unsta Lakumais, and welcome to the best video I have ever made. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not superstitious. I'm a wee bit stitious. Superstitions are beliefs or practices that a non-practitioner or outsider would view as irrational or maybe supernatural. Such as knocking on wood after you've said something that may cause misfortune, or throwing salt over your shoulder after you've spilt it. Have you ever thought that there might be a devil or evil spirit hiding in your mouth? Or maybe do you still worship the Greek goddess of the moon and virgins? Well, the salt one has a bunch of different explanations for it, and I couldn't really find one that made a whole bunch of sense. But the knocking on wood stems from an ancient pagan belief that mischievous spirits or evil spirits could hide in the wood. And if they heard you say something that, like I'm having the greatest show ever, or I'm going to be the best at this, or bragging, or however, they might jump into your mouth and make it come true. So knocking on the wood was a way of scaring them away and stopping the jinx. And now we get to birthday parties. Birthday parties are a lot different than regular parties because you have decorations that say happy birthday. You have party favors, you have goodie bags, you have little hats and things like that. But most importantly, the main event, the thing that all kids want, is a birthday cake. That cake was originally used in the times of ancient Greece to pay homage to the Greek goddess of the moon and hunters and stuff like that, who was Artemis. And so that is why the cake was originally baked in a round shape to represent the moon, and the candles were placed on there to represent the stars, the michmich. And so when you would blow those candles out and think of a wish, your wish would be on your breath and turn into the smoke of the candles and float up into the realm of the gods. And if you were good and prosperous, then Artemis would grant you with a wish. So superstitions can be good or bad. It all really depends on which region it comes from or what it is representing or concerning towards. But urban myths are very similar to superstitions, except they usually don't have a religious connotation. A quick example of the difference between maybe superstition that is held because of a religious belief or just an urban myth, but they stem from the same thing, is of whistling. So in most Native American cultures, I know in other places whistling at night is actually a good thing. In Europe specifically, because it's people know where you are, you're being loud, this, that, and the other. Whereas here in, where we have all these sorts of predators and maybe we weren't as condensed as they were in Europe, whistling was considered a bad thing. Maybe logically because it would let predators know where you were. But in the belief system, in the culture, you would say that you don't whistle because that is the language of the ghosts. And everything in our world is different below, in the world of the spirits. So when it is daytime here, it is nighttime there, and vice versa. So if we are whistling during the night, we are disrespecting them, we are calling them to us. And that is one thing that our people never want to do, is disrespect or disturb the spirits. And similarly, an urban myth that I once heard as a small child was to never play Eminem on Top Street, specifically the Eminem-fronted band D12. So the story goes that a young girl back in the 90s, when Eminem first came onto the scene or whatever, was stolen or he got lost, or I don't remember. And so whenever you would play Eminem on Top Street, that girl would come and chase you. And some of my older cousins and older friends told me about this. So of course, I never once played Eminem on Top Street, but I could never think of a really good reason why as a child. Now, as I am a grown man, well, asterisk on grown, I see that now it maybe stemmed from an old cranky man that lived on that street that just didn't want to hear Eminem or any sort of rap related music. And in that same vein, I would like to talk about one more superstition just because I found a bunch of different origins for it and it just kind of seemed interesting. Hecate is the Greek goddess of witchcraft or magic. But originally, she was actually maybe considered another aspect of Artemis, or she was considered the goddess of crossroads or making choices. And so as the Anglo-Saxons and the other nations or whoever started to take over and they started to learn about this goddess, because she is often associated with nighttime and crossroads and those things that might be considered auspicious or suspicious, is related to Hecate. And in one of the stories, Hercules' mother was trying to hide from Hera so that she could give birth to Hercules without any sort of disturbance. And her handmaiden went out into the world, or outside her house or whatever, and started declaring that Zeus had given birth. Zeus had given birth to a child. And so Hera abandoned all focus on the mother and left to go find Zeus, thus allowing Hera to give birth, or Hercules to be born. And so once Hera found out about this, she found out that the maiden, or the handmaiden, the servant person, was actually a servant as well of Hecate. So she was then turned into a polecat or a weasel. But some of the other versions that I've heard about this that are more prevalent in Europe, where the superstition of black cats originated, is that she got turned into a black cat. And because the black cat was serving the goddess of witches, the two became married symbolically. I once spent an entire sports tournament covered in my own sweat because I thought that the water would wash away what little talents I did possess. I also, whenever I'm feeling anxious or nervous, or I'm uncertain about things, I have this little token, this little talisman that I'm able to wear. It's a necklace, and it's one of those things that if I'm experiencing something new or if I'm going through some bad times, just feeling that necklace on my chest, it's like a talisman against bad luck or evil spirits or omens or even just my own anxiety. And so even though I know that I have the confidence and the courage myself, I don't need to be looking for talismans or omens or this and that. That necklace is my binky, like my bubbas or whatever. It just makes me feel better because of the person who gave it to me holds a very special place in my heart. And so even though I may never see that person, I know for a fact I will never see that person again and I'll never hear from them. Having that with me gives me the same strength and peace of mind that their presence used to. So your ability to change or make change in this world is directly tied to the belief in yourself. You spent years believing in the Weatherman and Tooth Fairy and all these other things. I believe it is time to believe in yourself. Why? This has been the video on superstitions and the mad ramblings of a brown man. Thank you for watching and listening. Catch you next time.